dropping back towards the mid to upper 40s around the region, maybe even holding on to some 50s around the area as we look at all this cloud cover that will continue to build in across the region. So for tonight, mid to upper 40s for those lows, mostly cloudy conditions, and I'll have a look at your forecast for tomorrow heading to Thanksgiving in just a bit.
Thanks very much, Mikhail. We have an update to an I-Team investigation. We're learning why state and local officials raided a chain of personal care homes here in Augusta. There's an ongoing investigation into claims the owners stole stimulus money from their residents. The First Love personal care homes were shut down last week after the raids. A month earlier, 2 residents were found dead in one of the homes, and that's when family and an employee told investigators their suspicions about the owners stealing that stimulus money.
Taking a look at coronavirus trends now, these are the daily cases in South Carolina, getting these from DHEC, 1,300 more cases today. You can see those new case numbers have stayed pretty high from this graph. The Palmetto State has seen at least 1,000 new cases, 14 out of the last 15 days.
2,400 new cases today in Georgia as we look at this graph from the Department of Health. In the last week, the Peach State has seen 6 days of more than 2,000 cases per day. Today, Governor Brian Kemp said once a vaccine is available, his people are ready to ship it out. The governor says even though cases are going up, he feels good about our rates, but is worried about things getting worse after the holidays. He's asking people to be smart, just like he did before Labor Day.
We didn't see a huge spike after Labor Day. We've prepared our hospitalization plans and our responses, our PPE supply that Director Stallings has been working on. I mean, we are prepared to handle whatever comes our way. We want this to be a bump, not a spike.
And the number of show cases are not slowing down. That has a lot of us worried about this holiday season. Many people deciding to stay home, but tens of millions of Americans are still expected to travel. Brady Trapnell live for us along I-20. So, Brady, what does it look like out there just a couple of days before the holiday?
Well, Laura, traffic is moving pretty good right now along I-20. A study from AAA expects driving to account for about 95% of travel this holiday season, as many people are trying to find safer ways to see family.
The airport is more eerie than busy. It'd be a strange thing to say if it wasn't 2020.
Overall, our numbers are about 50% in comparison to what we saw last year, but still that's higher than the national average.
Lauren Smith with Augusta Regional says their numbers have been COVID standard, but growing just a bit. 13 flights were scheduled today compared to usually 16 or 17. And perhaps surprisingly, most flights are at capacity with airline restrictions.
Well, I think the people that are flying through are somewhat comfortable with the COVID in general and the procedures that are implemented.
Smith says if you aren't comfortable with traveling, don't take the risk. Stay home.
I think we're all kind of bracing, all of us in healthcare, for what's going to happen over the holidays.
Dr. Awana Churko with University Hospital says if you do see family for Thanksgiving, keep it small and within your own household.
Wear a mask if you can. Social distance if you can, 6 feet and more.
And if you're high risk, the message is simple. Stay away from gatherings. And as some officials encourage getting tested before turkey, health officials say it's a false sense of security.
By no means a negative test means that you cannot develop COVID after your test was resulted.
Now, health officials say if you also have to host the gathering indoors, make sure the space is well ventilated. And if you are having to get tested before you go to see family, make sure you quarantine while waiting on those results.
A lot of tough choices for families this holiday season, Brady. Thank you. We did want to remind you there are 2 different kinds of COVID testing. There's PCR testing, which takes a few days to get those results. Doctors say this test is the most reliable. Then there is antigen testing, which you've probably heard referred to as rapid testing, which gets you results almost immediately. Doctors say if you test positive with the rapid test, there's a high chance that's accurate. If you test negative, doctors recommend you still get a PCR test, especially if you've been exposed.
Georgia Governor Brian Kemp says he stands with the president to make sure every leak. Kennedy, thanks very much for the update there. Some families may be making last-minute changes to their Thanksgiving plans after the CDC released new recommendations about avoiding travel and other large gatherings over the holidays.
Smaller gatherings at home can mean big business for local small business owners. iTeen's Liz Owens shows why many families are creating new traditions during this non-traditional year.
It's tradition that I make the green bean casserole in my family, but like many of you, I'm staying home and I won't be with my family this Thanksgiving. A recent survey shows that the average family gathering this Thanksgiving will only be about 5 people. That's down from 8 last year, giving us all the more reason to hang up our aprons at least this year.
Mac and cheese, check. Biscuits, check. Fixings and turkey. Sweet potato souffle, green bean casserole, mashed potatoes and gravy.
Check and check. The kitchen at Frog and the Hen is unusually busy for a Tuesday morning. But this isn't a usual Tuesday, and this isn't a usual year.
I think it's going to be a more intimate Thanksgiving for a lot of people this year.
Brianna Newton is the general manager of the Frog and Hollow Hospitality Group. She stopped accepting pre-orders on Wednesday after an overwhelming rush of customer requests for their Thanksgiving meal dinner.
So with COVID and the smaller gatherings being encouraged, a lot of people are seeing a smaller Thanksgiving than they're used to, and so a lot of people aren't wanting to do that really big dinner.
A recent survey from Information Resources Incorporated shows 29% of families plan to host or attend a Thanksgiving meal with extended family this year, down from 48% last Turkey Day. As a result, the survey predicts a decline in grocery sales. It didn't predict,
I think everybody's just sick of cooking at home.
the sudden spike in pre-order sales at local restaurants.
Crazy busy. We've seen about triple the orders than we typically do this time of year.
Lifesaver normally caps sales at the end of business the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. The owner tells us he started turning away orders Friday of last week. There's even a wait list for pre-orders at Cracker Barrel.
Nice little chunk of revenue to kind of bounce back from the lack thereof that we saw during Masters Week.
Thanksgiving is proving to be a much-needed financial break for local businesses. And a much-needed break.
This is a year for them to kind of break and relax and let us do the work, and we're super thankful for that opportunity.
From our kitchens at home. Don't worry, procrastinators. You still have time to order a Thanksgiving meal. California Dreaming is accepting pre-orders all the way through Thanksgiving Day until 5:30 in the evening. Popeyes is even selling a Cajun-style turkey through Thanksgiving Day. But if Thanksgiving is any indicator for what's to come at Christmas, don't procrastinate. You need to order soon. Liz Owens, on your side.
And looking at that long forecast for tomorrow,
Only Georgians can stop them. Vote David Perdue to save America.
I'm David Perdue, and I approve this message.
Dozens of families in need getting a free Thanksgiving meal today. This is the annual Thanksgiving Feed the Community event put on by the Josie High School class of 1994. They almost had to cancel this year because of the pandemic, but they were able to make it work.
Oh gosh, it's an amazing feeling to see other people doing the same thing that we're doing. So that just means, everybody has a heart. Everybody understands that right now this is a very needed time to give back and show love to other people.
And this is the 10th year the Josie class of 94 has held this event, feeding a lot of people who are so appreciative of that meal.
Some great alums over there. Okay, this 5-year-old is not to be messed with. Elsa, now a grand champion in karate after winning a tournament in Florida.
And did we mention she's only 5 years old? Will Rio hears from our very own Karate Kid.
These are the shouts of a champion. Elsa and her older brother Wilson both competed in the Destin Open Martial Arts Tournament in Florida over the weekend.
I'd say it's the second biggest big tournament.
Wilson came in second place for his age group, while Elsa came in first. And her response to being crowned grand champion?
It was good.
That's good.
I liked it.
Elsa is only 5 years old.
We were very surprised to see her. To be honest, to see her win. We're proud for her.
that's great for her.
It's surprising only because she was a first-time competitor in a national competition, meaning she was competing against very experienced kids.
People from different martial arts disciplines and backgrounds, all different ages, skill ranks, levels, everything coming to compete at this.
Cameron Smith is Elsa and Wilson's sensei at Premier Martial Arts in North Augusta. He's worked hard with them for the past 4 years.
When I heard her name getting announced over the intercom saying that she won grand champion, like, I'm freaking out, I'm excited. As an instructor and as a coach, you just love to see.
He says you can see the passion in their eyes.
But you can tell that they have a passion for what it is that they're doing. It's helped them be able to accomplish more things than the average martial arts student their age will be able to do at this level.
They will only continue to get better, hopefully winning many more of these medals.
I'm happy for them. It's great. I hope it's going to give them more self-confidence, and they're going to keep working, but they need to keep working. They have a long way in front of them.
Will Rio, on your side.
And Elsa and Wilson plan to continue their martial arts career. Heck, why would you stop? And they're currently prepping for their next big tournament at the Battle of Atlanta.
Which sounds very dramatic, and I'm sure it is, but that whole family is involved. You can tell they are all in for those kids, but good for them.
Absolutely. Don't mess with her on the playground.
Do
That's
not.
for sure.
Back off.
Taking a look out over Aiken this